For some years, many of us have watched Liv come online and spin these tales of fantasies mixed in with a little bit of the truth. Just a little bit, not a lot. We have seen the meltdowns, the crash outs. We've seen her come on here acting like all is good in the world and, her fantasy life that she lives in is the best thing since sliced bread. And we are peasants that are just jealous of her. We watch these live stream defenses ad nauseum to the point where they become predictable, in my opinion. But the thing is that no matter how heavily she filters the camera, when the mask slips, it can't be put back on. And she has to respin and respin and respin till she can pick her face up off the ground. So, because I consider myself to be a curious nerd that never sleeps, I caught on to something that I just couldn't shake. Something she said. And based on my own opinions and drawing upon, this one of the last videos that she did, one of the last lives, the one about her custody and visitation, I thought I'd just dig a little deeper. I just could not wrap my head around what she was saying, and I had to make sense of it. I had to dig deeper through that mess of a video and break down what I thought was really going on behind the scenes. So, mind you, this is just my own speculation. I did some research and I put it all together. This can be the truth, but it may not be the truth. You feel me? I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Stick with me. So, my initial thought was that she was just trying to get out of her summer visitations like she did last year. I thought this was another way for her to kind of throw a monkey wrench into Gerard and Nisha's summer. But I also felt like she knew that she's getting ready to have this baby any day now, and it's going to be overwhelming for her dealing with, a newborn and 2 toddlers. On top of that, 3 growing, rambunctious kids who now have developed their own personalities. So, the idea of bringing a newborn and 3 kids into an already tight situation with her and AJ and Kailani, I just thought she was doing what she normally does. Just acting out, acting like a spoiled brat, trying to dodge the summer and, throw in the whole issue of visitation and custody into Nisha and Gerard's face. Basically blame them for her not having her kids this summer. But then she made a mistake. She said something. She said a number. She said 2 numbers that I don't think she meant to say out loud. And when she did that, she accidentally exposed a gem, a legal reality that she may be facing. So for me, the devil is in the details. Let's get started.
Not his sisters. Like, everything is my fault. My kids are hardly with me but fucking 4 days out of the month. But I let my son beat on his sisters. That's learned from where he lives. Of course I talked to her about it. Of course, but 2 fucking days is not enough days to talk to her about it. She needs her mom. Something is going on. So that's what I mean by I don't want more time. I don't just want more time. I need more time. 2 days. What are you doing, Kailani? 2 days is not enough. Okay? I'm not on drugs. I'm not on the streets. Yeah, sure, I'm in a small place, but that can all change over fucking night. I could literally move tomorrow. and get a house. Literally. I could, but there's no reason to at this very moment. But if he were to call me and say, hey, I'm going to give you 50% of the time with the kids, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 1 week on, 1 week off, bitch, I'll get what I need to get, period, point blank, without the internet's help.
Did y'all catch that? Those words just revealed a part of the story she is conveniently leaving out. And let me show you why. Okay, so to piece together what might actually have occurred behind the scenes over the last few months, with her having to go back and forth to court since her jail release, we just have to look at the breadcrumbs left behind over the last year. If we connect the dots between her running away to Florida last summer to cosplay a pregnant homeless woman, her 43-day jail stint for child support, and her sudden mention of a 2-day schedule, and only getting them 4 days a month, a specific Easter egg is being hatched, at least in my mind. Now, while she rants about choosing to step back, I think the choice might have been made for her. So let's get into the details of what the state of Texas calls a standard possession order, the exact sandbox she appears to have been placed in, and how her own words may have just confirmed that there has been a big change to Liv's visitation schedule. So for those of us who are familiar with Liv and this never-ending saga of her non-existent fight for her kids, if my assumptions are correct, and again, this is just my opinion, this is just me spitballing here, going down the rabbit hole, that slip up is a big effing deal. Because in Texas, they have something called an expanded schedule. And that's the gold standard for non-custodial parents. And it's Thursday through Monday, 4 nights every other week. And we have witnessed this schedule in practice since she lost custody of the Web3. By her accidentally saying or referencing that she only has 2 days with her kids, specifically Robin, to correct her quote-unquote problem that I'm not going to get into in this video. And then she also mentions that she only gets 4 days a month. She possibly revealed a new schedule, a change of visitation. Liv has never talked about the number of days that she has with her kids as being 2. If anything, she's come on here throwing it in our faces that she's picked up her kids on Thursday, and she's sure to turn that camera on and make us aware that she has them from Thursday till Monday morning. So this is a change. This is definitely a change. And why does it matter? Well, because in Tarrant County, you just don't lose those extra days by choice. You lose those by order. Okay, so for the next part of this video, it's going to sound like I'm reading from a script, because I am. I don't want to take away from the importance of what possibly has happened due to me stumbling over the terminology and the phrasing, yada yada yada. So anyway, let me continue. Okay, the first major fracture happened in the summer of 2025, leaving the state of Texas to spend May through the end of August in Florida without notifying the custodial parent is what the legal system defines as a nuclear option. In a Texas family court, this isn't just a long vacation, it's a documented forfeiture of visitation. So when a custodial parent takes it to the judge, it immediately clears the highest legal hurdle required for a modification, proving a material and substantial change in circumstances. The court looks at this and asks a simple question. If the expanded time is so vital, why did you completely abandon the entire summer?
Period. I see you guys. Period. 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 Just like, did you move? Dun, da, da, da. Yes, I moved. I moved, you guys. hold on. 4Lee is mad. They're mad today, honey. They probably at work, mad as hell. She said it took long enough. 24 minutes, that's cool. Good for you. Yes, I'm back in Florida. Yes, you guys, I moved. I got me a cute little place out here. Okay, listen, here's the thing. Liv has been through a lot, right? And I learned a lot from what I've been through. And people are not gonna fuck with me no more. I was really scared about this move because I have a lot to do, like a lot. And it's different than any other time because, you know, I was wasting a lot of time, a lot of stuff on things that, you know, when my attention should have been elsewhere, my attention was on other things. And this time, 100%, my attention is on one thing, being back here in Florida. And that's rebuilding my life. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's rebuilding me. It's getting me to a place where I am good, you know, because I finally feel like I'm good here. And I'm good here. I got the body and the mind together. Now I need to, I mean, not all the way together. I always need to work on myself. But for the most part, like, I'm here. Present time with you guys. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm not worried about something. People want to ask me all these questions about my kids and everything. I'm not gonna go back on anything I've done on social media because honestly, everything has shaped me into the woman that I am today, sitting here in front of you guys. Whether you want to be like, oh, it's fake, oh, she's putting on a front, oh, she's this, oh, she's that. I don't have time for that, guys. I don't have time for that. It's never too late to start over. It's not. Right. It's never too late. It's never too late. And like I said, people want me to talk about my kids and stuff. I'm not ever doing that again. It's like somebody just said, who is that, Stephanie? It's not anybody's business. And quite frankly, like I've said a million times, you guys, my supporters, I know my supporters care and stuff, but like, no. No. Mm-mm. No. I don't even care anymore. Like, for real. Like, I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried. No, I don't want to stay with anybody. I don't want to. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to just figure it out. I don't want to stay with anybody. I don't want to go to California. I don't want to, no. And everyone talking about trolling and this and that. I don't have my place in Dallas. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. I broke the lease and I lost all of our stuff. Everything's gone. I had pictures, I had everything, and everything's gone. Like, pictures I'll never get back again. I'm never getting all my baby's pictures. I don't even care about my stuff. I don't care about none of that shit.
I care about like the pictures and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm a joke. I know. My life is a joke. I'm a joke.
This situation once and for all. Now, everything that went down in Florida, as far as, you know, me moving, and I was never gonna stay with my sister for that long. I wanted to get a place, you know, like, not a place, but I wanted to like move out and venture on my own. Anyway, I did that. I moved in with the roommate. You guys knew what happened from there. But the roommate situation was fine. Here's the thing with this apartment. I didn't want to keep this apartment. Okay, I was done. When Olivia's done, she's done. And I just felt like I can't get shit done here because I need the help that I need. And plus, I don't want to play these games. I don't want to go back and forth with this man because it seems like whenever I'm here in Texas, it always turns into, pick that up. It always turns into that type of situation where him and I are doing shit that we have no business doing, or he's knocking on, he's somehow, whether it's bad or good or whatever, well, it's always bad, but somehow the man always ends up knocking at my door, okay? And be quiet, please. So anyway, I didn't want to keep this place, okay? By the grace of Stella, okay? And shout out to my mother. And my mother was so right. And look at, the reason why I agreed to keep this place, because my kids, my 3 babies that are here, you know? And it's like, keep the place, you know, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, when I thought I lost the place, I didn't know how I was gonna keep paying for this place at one point. I was like, I'm gonna lose everything and everything inside of this place because I had no way to pay for it. I'm not gonna get into like who's been paying. For the most part, you guys already know, but what is the problem? Let me say, for the most part, you guys, all of my supporters, you guys helped me save this place. You guys. Now, you guys helped me, what's the word I'm looking for? You guys helped me, with so much when I was in Florida and I was going through that situation, and I was like, okay, so am I gonna get a place? I was at the crossroads of, am I gonna get a place here in Florida because I was homeless, I didn't have a place in Florida, or am I gonna come back here and am I gonna save this place and come back here? And ultimately I just decided to come back here because I was on vacation for 3 months. If you want to call it that, that's fine. Here's what I'm not gonna do. What I won't do is I won't argue with you guys anymore. I'm not gonna argue with the internet, because another thing I realized is that, like, it's never been our beef. Like, it's never been our beef, y'all. My beef has been with one person and one person only. Certain people on the internet took the beef and ran with it and thought it was y'all's. It's not y'all's, and you guys don't have nothing to do with it. I have beef with people in real life, not the internet. So it's okay. You guys can call it whatever you want, vacation, whatever. That's fine. That's totally fine. You're allowed to do that. Yeah, it's my life. Exactly. It's my life, and I'm not gonna argue about my life anymore. Like, I won't do it.
Then comes the financial and legal tipping point. We are all aware that she was sentenced to 120 days in jail for criminal contempt of court due to failure to pay child support. Even if jail overcrowding slashed that physical stay down to 43 days, the damage was already done on paper. In a custody modification trial, this ruins any narrative of the other parent withholding the children from me, and also her running to Florida for roughly 5 months. You cannot legally claim you're being blocked from seeing your kids when the state physically locks you up in a county facility for violating a court order, and before that, you actively and voluntarily leave the state and forfeit your court ordered summer visitation. Now, add active criminal probation to the mix, the court suddenly has a permanent lens into Liv's stability. So, how does the family court system in Tarrant County actually punish this behavior without completely terminating the parental rights? They strip the privileges and scale the boundaries back to the absolute minimum. So let's look at the math of a standard Texas rollback. Look at this breakdown. When a judge decides an expanded schedule is causing instability, they strip away the school transitions. The Thursday afternoon pickup disappears, replaced by Friday at 6 p.m. The Monday morning school drop-off vanishes, replaced by Sunday at 6 p.m. That rolls back a 4-day weekend down to exactly 48 hours. But the most brutal cut happens to the summer block. Instead of getting weeks or months at a time, the court orders that the standard first, third, and fifth weekend rules simply keeps running through the summer. The final result? A massive drop from 12 days a month down to just 4. So this brings us to the core of the internet commentary, the spin in her live stream. The narrative is, and I quote, "I'm just walking away because he can't co-parent." Now, this sounds noble, right? And if you know Liv, she does nothing for noble reasons. She does them for selfish reasons. But it frames her absence as a personal choice to protect her peace from Gerard and Nisha. But if we read between the lines, we know that these claims of voluntarily walking away from her kids while complaining that she does not have enough time with her kids tells us something. It tells us that her visitation has been cut from 4 days every other week down to 2 days every other week. And that's the court order. So this whole "I'm protecting my peace" narrative, it's just simply her deflecting. It's pure deflection, and we know this very well coming from her. We also have to talk about the hidden casualty in this battle that Liv is or has been waging against Gerard all this time. There's a history of late pickup, no-shows, and erratic behavior that just doesn't annoy the ex-spouse. It sabotages her kid's life. It means that missing a football game or skipping a dance practice and disrupting school schedules. So, for example, we know now that not just Christian is playing football, Robin is playing flag football. And we know also that Ryan, she cheered and she dances also. So Tarrant County family judges heavily prioritize the stability. By restricting a non-compliant parent like Liv to a 48-hour weekend block, the court ensures that the custodial parent, which is Gerard, has total weekday control. It protects the children's extracurricular growth from being hijacked by an unstable parent. So can I just say, I want to thank anyone who's made it this far. Again, I'm nerding out here. I am a info junkie. I just feel like I should give you guys a complete picture of what's going on. So when you visualize the data, the impact is staggering. The bar chart shows the reality of the modification. We see a literal 66% collapse in physical parenting time for Liv. Moving from an expanded 12 days down to a highly structured 4 days is the classic legal response to visitation abandonment and systematic noncompliance. It forces the parent into a tiny sandbox where they have to prove they can follow basic rules before they can ever ask for more. So, where does Liv go from here? Once a Texas court strips you of your time based on jail history and abandonment, you just don't get it back by acting right for a few weeks. The court utilizes a step up parenting plan. It's a slow, grueling climb. It starts with supervised or daytime visits to monitor consistency. If probation terms are met and no shows stop for 6 months, they might hold on to the 4 day weekend. Only after a year or more of flawless compliance will a judge ever consider restoring those coveted Thursday to Monday blocks. The climb is 10 times harder than the fall. So I'm not sure that they automatically go to the supervised daytime visits only. It's possible that they can just go to the 4 day, the 2 day weekend, and she still has to step up to get back to that Thursday to Monday blocks. Again, this is only my speculation, and we'll see how this all kind of shakes out. So to kind of wrap this up, if we pay attention to how she frames this rant, she's screaming at the camera about how terrible a father Gerard is, but notice what is completely missing from her mouth: any mention of the court order, or at least in my opinion, a court order. Liv thinks she's the smartest person in the room. She knows that admitting a Tarrant County judge stripped her of custody would, be devastating to her out here on these YouTube streets. So she's playing a game of sleight of hand. But she slips up and tells us that she's down to 2 days at a time. But then she immediately points the finger at Gerard and Nisha, trying to convince us that this tiny schedule is just him being difficult and refusing to co-parent with her. She keeps ranting about wanting 50-50 custody. If you look at the expanded visitation schedule, that is pretty darn close to 50-50, something she already had. So why would she need to be ranting about this? But here's the problem with trying to outsmart her audience, and the reactors are the biggest part of her audience. We know how to do math. We know how to interpret the law. Gerard just didn't magically restrict Liv to an exact, precise 2 day a week or 2 day every other week schedule. He can't just create this out of thin air without a judge's signature, not without going to jail himself. So she thought she could hide the modification by simply never saying the word court. She thought that the reaction community would just chase the drama and miss the fine print. But she underestimated someone like me. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the smartest person in the room like she does. I could be absolutely and totally wrong. And I may not be the only person that picked up on this. But she wanted to punish Gerard and Nisha publicly. But in her arrogance, she accidentally confessed to a restriction to her visitation schedule. It was sitting right there in front of us. I truly believe that this is what those court dates were all about. I truly believe that this is what happened. And we know Liv. She is going to deflect, and she is going to run out here and try to put her story out front first, because she knows that there are people that are hot on her trail. There are people who are watching her that are not a part of Loyalty Gang. And she knows that people like me in the reacting or in the reactor community, we're not necessarily going through her business with a fine tooth comb. She would like to believe it. But I only caught this because I am a fan of other reactors. So I watched their reactions to this video, and when it comes to the part where she starts talking about the 2 days and wanting 50-50 custody, my mind could not compute what she was actually saying, because I'm like, girl, you get those kids 4 days every other week. You may not get 1 week on, 1 week off, but you damn sure get close to it, and you get the whole summer. I also want to mention too that I'm not sure if she, if the summers have been taken away from her. But if what I'm thinking and what I, just talked about is true, that is, that is the reality. So it kind of explains this talk now about sitting down with Gerard and Nisha and having a conversation. She kind of backpedals a little bit about Nisha having a say, but she also backpedals in her language and how she talks about Nisha. And if you look over the last few weeks, she's been very restrained about how she talks about Nisha. Now, I am under no illusions that she can do this over the long haul, because she even kind of slips up in this video. But the only proof that I personally would kind of lay my hat on is that she has a video out here. And that video, I believe, the date on that video is April 27th. And that's the video where she says that she went to court. And she doesn't address it in her video, but if you could tell by her demeanor. And if you look at her demeanor moving forward that whole week, you can see that there is something going on. I believe she even deleted an angry live where she was cussing and fussing out her chat. Okay, and we see these dips, these highs and these lows. She's all over the place. And most recently, she did a live where she said that she's struggling mentally. So the walls have closed in on Liv. And I highly suspect that her visitation has been modified. So she can say, no, she has not lost custody. No, she has not lost visitation. But it has, I believe, been modified. And because she's now in a tiny box, and her kids have extracurricular activities, that if she wants that time with them for those 2 days, she's going to have to get those kids to those extracurricular activities. And we all know that she doesn't want to do that for obvious reasons. And looking at it too, I think the last time she had the kids were like 3 weeks ago, and that's when it appeared that she only had Robin and Ryan, and that Kristen refused to go with her. Maybe up until school lets out, that they modified the 48 hours to be Thursday and Friday. That's just my speculation. It doesn't take away from what's being said out here on the YouTube streets by no means, that the kids do not want to be in her presence. It could very well be a combination of both. But this is what my spidey sense is telling me. So I'm going to toss it over to you guys. You tell me. You tell me what you think. Do you think that this is plausible? Unfortunately, their documents, their divorce decree and subsequent custody agreement is under lock and key. You won't find it on the Tarrant County website. We just don't have access to it. We'd have to be a party to the case or an attorney. And I do believe that you can call and request this information. And there is a third-party website called Trellis that updates these documents. But I don't know if they can just update the entries, but still not release the actual documentation. I'm not sure about that. There are people out here that are well versed in that realm, and I'm not. So, again, this is what I think. I think Liv slipped up and told us something. Drop down in the comments below if you think I'm onto something, or you just think that I am just as nuts as Liv. So if you made it this far, I really, again, want to thank you. And if you like what I had to say, you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And at the very least, give me a thumbs up. So until the next time I upload, everyone have a great day. I'm out. Bye now.